the Chief Justice had wanted to communicate to me about the time of handing over the report. We had at an earlier stage discussed that it would be good to have this type of occasion when the report would be handed over as it was done the very first time. And when he realized that he was not going to make that appointment, he felt the need to communicate with me, and he said, I do this with due respect in relation to the process of handing over the report. Now, I think one has to take, say maybe both of us, at our word. At our word in that we've dealt with each other with a great deal of integrity, not for once ever wanting to discuss the work, the substance of the work that the Chief Justice was doing, not for once even to discuss the evidence that I presented to the Commission, which was led or heard by the Chief Justice. And he has said that he has a chapter or so dealing with the evidence that I put forward to the Commission. I don't even know what that is. And for all I care, because of the high regard I have for the Chief Justice, he could be making he could have made a negative finding against me, which I will accept. And it is the basis on which we deal with each other on these matters, because the Chief Justice has to do his work without fear, without favor, and without any form of prejudice. As the judge who has been chairing the Commission, he has been guided by precisely that, underpinned his work with a great deal of honesty, fairness, and integrity. So I cannot accept the innuendos and the suppositions that are being made that there was any way in which the Chief Justice and I could have discussed the substance of the work. It is quite demeaning, actually, because it is way, way, way below what the Chief Justice would do. I would not even know how to even ask the Chief Justice to comment on the substance of his work. It is completely out of nature. Thank you. I don't know what is in this latest report. Like you, I'm going to start reading it tonight, and I'll go through it very, very carefully on my flight to Cape Town, and I will be making markings and notes. And of course, once one has gone through that, we will be able to form a view. And it is this that I have said. I will, within 4 months, be able to present to Parliament a full implementation plan in terms of what we are going to do. I know you and many other people will be impatient, wanting immediate action tomorrow morning, but I think we have to follow the process, go through this whole plan that I put to the nation, that within the 4 months period we will come up with an implementation plan, which, as I've said, will take to Parliament, so that Parliament is able to evaluate precisely the steps that are going to be taken. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice.
Thank you, Minister. Well, Mr. Mbeje, I have had occasion quite a few times over the past 4.5 years to emphasize how important I think the work of this commission was. I have indicated the lengths to which I have gone to try and make sure that if anything goes wrong, it shouldn't be because we didn't try to make sure that things were done right. That has been my approach, that has been the approach of the Commission. But it doesn't mean that there aren't situations where we have found ourselves in a situation that we would have preferred not to be in. We have had some delays. It would have been difficult to avoid most of those delays, if not all of them. But I am satisfied that we have done all that we could to make sure that if anything is found wrong with the report by a court, it should not be because we treated the report in a manner that didn't show that we appreciate how important it is. So, of course, I would have liked a situation where there were no delays and everything happened on time. I have shared with everybody that members of the legal team, members of the investigation team, and staff have worked flat out over this period, particularly the past 2 years or so, because there is this commitment to the work of the Commission. You will remember that even during the times of the hearings, we would have 2 sessions. We'd sit during the day, sometimes sit in the evening. We could sit over public holidays. We sat on a Saturday, we sat on a Sunday. We have always thought that this work is very important for the country, and we have dedicated ourselves to do everything we can to make sure that the work of the Commission is well taken care of. So people have got a right to go to court and challenge the report, and the Commission will deal with those when they come. But we have tried the best we can to try and make sure that we don't have delays that we could have avoided.
Thank you, Chief Justice. Juanita, I know you've been on fire, Penny.
Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you, Mr. President, Chief Justice. This question is for Chief Justice Raymond Zondo. My name is Conita Hunter from News 24. Chief Justice, it has been 4.5 years where a lot has happened. As you said, a former president went to jail for defying this very inquiry. Doesn't happen every day. Just to ask you to follow up on my colleague, in hindsight, do you wish that you've done anything differently in this process? Do you have any regrets from these last 4.5 years? And what has been a silver lining for you? If there's just one silver lining of these 4.5 years and this report that's sitting here, what would that be? Thank you very much.
Chief Justice.
Thank you very much. I like evaluating my actions and my decisions from time to time, because I believe that one should always be open to recognizing if one has made a mistake and be prepared to acknowledge it and where necessary apologize. Whenever I've looked back at the decisions that I've taken in the Commission, I struggle to find any decision I've taken that I regret. I look back at decisions that I've taken, some of them very difficult, and I think when I look back, I think I would take the same decisions faced with the same situation again. I do tend to give myself a little bit of time to reflect before I take decisions. And so I can't remember, I can't think of any decision that I've taken that I would regret. The one thing which I would have liked to have happened differently is the way we started with the hearings and the investigations. You know, ideally, in a commission, you would like a situation where you put together investigators and they investigate and finish their investigation, and then you start hearings. You know, then it's more structured. You know exactly what to look. You know how many witnesses you are going to have, and so on. But we didn't have that luxury because there was a huge demand that the commission should start with hearings. So as we were hearing some evidence, the investigators were continuing to investigate. And as a result of that, you would find that in the morning we might be hearing the evidence of a witness under ESCOM, but in the afternoon we are hearing evidence from a witness under Transnet, simply because we wanted to use the time that we had. We didn't want to say we want to hear evidence relating to ESCOM until we have finished all of it and then go to Transnet. If we did it that way, we would not be done by now. So that's the part that we didn't have much of a choice on. But yes, no, I have no regrets whatsoever. Thank you.
Governor?
Thank you so much. It's Governor Whittles from ENCA. My question also for the Chief Justice. Chief Justice Zondo, do you believe that if this report that you've presented is implemented in its entirety, it will sufficiently protect South Africa state from being captured using the ways that you've uncovered during your hearings here? Is it a good enough firewall for the future? Thank you.
Well, I don't want to make anybody think that this report is all you need to rid South Africa of state capture or to make sure that state capture never happens again. But I do believe that it will, the recommendations that have been made, if they are implemented, will make a significant contribution towards that goal.
Thank you, Chief Justice. Ms. Bate?
Thank you. I'm very tempted to try and wrangle two questions since a colleague did so, and if I were to, I might ask our president about the screensaver on his tablet, but I won't. Chief Justice, it's been a long 4 years for you, for us, for many, many people in this room and for the country. An obvious question, but did state capture occur? And if so, who was its ultimate architect? We know that some witnesses claim it was the Guptas who had the former president in their pocket, and other witnesses claimed that it was the former president who had the Guptas in his pocket. What was your finding?
Well, I'm going to disappoint you and do things the way I did it when we had the first handover, when I said I won't talk about what's in the report, but obviously you are going to read all about it. Thank you.